What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the HnH Podcast. I am Rana, joined by my older brother, Huzaifa Z. Rana. It has been a long time since we last posted an episode of a podcast. Happy New Year's to everyone. And we're going to start off 2026 with a banger episode. Huzaifa, how are you?
I am doing amazing, Hamza. Thank you so much for that introduction. It feels absolutely amazing to be back on the podcasting studio with my brother. A lot has happened this last month. Don't worry, we have not been ducking. We have not given up on this podcasting journey. The reality is, this last month was extremely busy. Beginning of December, I had the opportunity to play floorball. It's another version of ball hockey, and I got to play in San Jose. Came back home with a bronze medal, so that took away 2 weeks of our recording. And then when we came back, we had a bunch of family in town for the holiday season. And Hamza was in the middle of his final exams in his first semester of his second year at university here in Ottawa. So we have been extremely busy with family. But we are back now, ready to get at it for a continued effort for week-to-week episodes for you guys. A lot has happened in the NFL world. A lot has happened in the sports world. And a lot has happened in my personal life as well. Probably can't tell right now, but I'm in a completely different setup. It looks the same background. But before, for people who didn't know, I used to be recording in the same house as Hamza. I was in the basement. Hamza was upstairs in his room. And now, since that last episode, I was fortunate enough to get a new home. So I've moved only 10 minutes away from where I used to live. But this will be the future setup here. And I'm in the process of Hamza. I don't know if you knew this, Hamza, but I want to be able to make a podcasting studio in my new house with some couches, get a TV in the middle. That is a long-term vision for the HnH podcast. And that also explains why we've been away for so long, just because of the moving and all that stuff. So all that put to the side, Hamza, we're back. How are you feeling, Hamza? We're back here. New Year 2026. HnH journey continues. How you feeling?
It was kind of crazy to even say 2026 because I remember 2016 like it was yesterday. That was one of the greatest years I've experienced in terms of sports, in terms of gaming, in terms of just everything. 2016 was such a crazy year. I can't believe it's been 10 years.
I know.
10 years since that. But
what were you doing 10 years ago, 2016? What grade were you in?
I think I was in grade 5.
Okay.
I was in grade 5 in 2016. Grade 5, yeah, great. I was in grade 5 in 2016. In September of 2016, that's when the greatest NBA 2K game dropped. NBA 2K16.
Oh my gosh.
And the greatest, one of the best Madden games ever dropped, like in September of 2016. Madden 16, which probably personally my favorite Madden that I've ever played.
That was a great Madden.
But yeah, this is it's crazy. It's good to be back. There's a lot of things we have to talk about.
I was a grade 10 student at Ashbury College, playing football for the junior and senior team, playing basketball.
Was that when the photo of you wearing?
Yeah. I don't know if we're ever going to show this to our viewers or our fans, but my drip game when I was younger playing football was not very good. People would laugh.
Not even the drip game, but just like how you were built and great.
How I was built. Yeah, I wasn't very built back then, but I would still throw for 5 touchdown passes a game. Thank you very much. But man, Hamza, it's honestly exciting. I cannot tell you how happy I am that we're back in the studio. Something going on there? You good?
Somebody
breaking news?
Call me.
All right. Let's get on to the episode here, Hamza. Breaking. So, what we're going to do this episode, guys, obviously our beloved Dallas Cowboys, unfortunately, have not made the playoffs this year. Second year in a row, first time since 2002, the Dallas Cowboys have not made the playoffs in back-to-back years, So what we're going to do, Hamza, for this beginning of this episode for all of our fans, we're going to do a Dallas Cowboys season in review for you guys here today. We'll grade Brian Schottenheimer's first year as a Dallas Cowboys head coach. We'll grade the offense. We'll grade the defense. We'll talk about what went wrong, what went right, and are there things that the Cowboys can improve on heading into the future. We'll also talk about the breaking news where Matt Eberflus, the former defensive coordinator for the Dallas Cowboys, the former coordinator has been fired and let go by Dallas Cowboys yesterday, which was surprising news for many Cowboy fans because the Cowboys usually are pretty late with these kind of news, with these kind of firings. So Cowboys have fired him. And then Obviously, there's still football this weekend, so we will do a NFL bracket prediction for you guys here today, and maybe some college football as well. So Hamza, I'll go on to you. I'll give it to you first here, Hamza. Overall, we'll say overall thoughts on the Cowboys season this year, and then we'll start off by giving an overall grade to Brian Schottenheimer in his first year at the Dallas Cowboys. You can do a percentage or you can do a letter. I'll let you kind of drive the bus right now. So Hamza,
Am I starting from the off season of last year? Or am I starting from just regular
start
season?
from the moment Schottenheimer became the head coach and everything that's transpired this year. I'll let you run the table for a little bit, and then I will give my take as well after.
Well, to make it kind of short, when we first hired Brian Schottenheimer, I wasn't really the happiest because honestly, I didn't even know who Brian Schottenheimer was. I knew who he was, but I didn't know I didn't think he was a head coach caliber at first, and I think that's everyone's reaction at first. Like, oh, we just hired an assistant offensive coordinator, has no head coaching experience, has been a coordinator in other places, like he was a coordinator for the Jets and the Seahawks. But I thought it was kind of okay. That's such a Jerry signing. He doesn't want to even look out. He just wanted to bring someone in who's already a part of the staff. So I'm like, okay, whatever. But I think the moment he had his interview, I'm like, okay, I think this is a guy with a lot of energy. That's one thing Mike McCarthy didn't have. Right away, you could tell the energy that Brian Schottenheimer brings and the cultural change that he wanted to bring to the Cowboys. And I can say, he did it. I think the boys, even in the off season, you would see the clips and videos of just everyone being hype, and it's a type of cultural environment that we haven't seen before. Everyone was like, even the players were always talking about, yeah, this culture is different. Schottenheimer would always talk about, the winning culture that we're trying to bring here, and then it's a process. Even though we didn't win, but it's a process, and we also brought in George Pickens. That was one of the biggest. I think I've experienced one of the craziest trades part of Dallas, except for the Quinnen one that happened. You're bringing that. He did a pretty good job in the draft, but then obviously in the regular season, I don't think it's fully his fault. I think offensively we were very good. We're averaging 30 points a game. Dak Prescott had one of his best years under Brian Schottenheimer. George Pickens had a career year under Brian Schottenheimer. Javonte Williams had a crazy breakout year for himself under Schottenheimer, but then season didn't end up where we wanted it to be with Matt Eberflus and his stupid defense. I think overall as a first season, I didn't really go full much. I didn't really go too much into depth with it, but I'm gonna give it a B minus. I'm gonna give it a B just as to where I think this team will go in the next few seasons with the acquisitions that we've made in the offseason, and hopefully we can continue to re-sign our major guys like Pickens and bring back Javonte and Aubrey. And we still have 2 draft picks, 2 first-round picks this year, and I think also Brian Schottenheimer's urgency to let go of Matt Eberflus as soon as the season ended, and he didn't want to bring in Eberflus. That was Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones is the one that brought Matt Eberflus in. It was not Brian Schottenheimer hire. So yeah, I'm gonna go as of right now. I'm gonna go B minus to B.
Oh yeah, that's interesting, Hamza. I think when Schottenheimer got this job to be the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys, it was never going to be an easy journey for him. Anytime the Dallas Cowboys have an opening at a coordinator position or a head coaching position, there's always added media attention, always added criticism towards this coach because it's the Dallas Cowboys. We're America's team. Say hate it or not, the Dallas Cowboys are America's team. So there's always an extra set of eyes on any type of personnel for the Dallas Cowboys. You add on top of that Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones and their influence in decision making and their impact in the free agency market and the draft. There's always an added voice in the room for this respective head coach or personnel for the Dallas Cowboys. So you look at that, and that's before any type of drama. And one thing I would say about this year is there's always drama around the Dallas Cowboys, but this year just felt a little bit added. Before training camp even started, Schottenheimer's first opportunity to be a head coach in training camp, the whole Micah Parsons news is surfacing around the world. Micah wants out, Jerry's paid him, not talking to the agent, this and that. Micah sitting down on the bench in preseason, Micah this, Micah that. Trayvon Diggs and Micah Parsons doing joint press conferences, which I've never seen before, all within Schottenheimer's first few weeks of being a head coach of the Dallas Cowboys, let alone the expectation and the pressure that the Cowboys always have in making the playoffs, doing well, because it's been 30 now years, Hamza. So you look into that. That was immediately how his tenure started as a Dallas Cowboy head coach. Then you go in just a week before your first game in the regular season, the Dallas Cowboys in Philadelphia, Micah Parsons gets traded. Just a week before, you add that. That's a lot of pressure on a new head coach. You go into Philadelphia, you honestly have a pretty good game. A couple of CeeDee Lamb drops resulted in that loss, but you just go into a heated amount of drama in the offseason to a letdown in week one with the Micah news. Okay, that's fine, whatever. You go week by week. You end up barely beating the New York Giants, and then you go to the Green Bay Packers. So you're going to go to Chicago, and you lose to Chicago. So there's a lot of pressure on Schottenheimer. Then the Micah Parsons return and the crazy game, that tie that happened. Overall, what I'm trying to say is this year was filled with a lot of drama for Brian. was packed, with a lot of drama for Brian Schottenheimer, and that's unfair for any head coach, let alone the head coach of Dallas Cowboys. Then you go on further and further, and we'll talk about it in the next segment here, is this defense could not get off the field. We made the joke throughout this year that third down and 15, it's a first down for the other team. It was that annoying and frustrating for the Dallas Cowboys. You know, that AI video? The AI video was hilarious. Like, that was a full picture of the Dallas Cowboys defense. And can you imagine this too? A first-time head coach and play caller for the Dallas Cowboys and Brian Schottenheimer. You know what he says in week 3 of his press conference? He's like, I have to spend some more time in the defensive room to look over Eberflus and make sure the defense is organized. No head coach, let alone a first-time head coach, should have to have and endure that responsibility that Brian Schottenheimer had. So he was set up for failure from the beginning of the season even started. Okay, then you go on and on and on. Defense is still let down. Offense is playing well but not finishing games. The record, and then you go into the Trayvon Diggs drama. Trayvon Diggs had a TV fall on top of his head and resulted in him being on IR for 4 to 6 weeks. He ends up getting released. Him and Trayvon Diggs never saw eye to eye. There were just a lot of built-up, added excuses and drama behind Schottenheimer that I think affected him as a head coach in the first year. I would agree with you, though. I would give him probably a B- because there were some things, aside from all those things I just mentioned, they could have done better at. And a big part of that is second half scoring. I think offensively, we did not do enough in the second half of these games. Some of the play calling down in the red zone was a little bit challenging at times, a little bit questionable. You know, there's multiple games when the Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys on the offensive side of the ball were at the 5-yard line or fewer, and they never ran the ball once. And Javonte Williams, who we'll talk about throughout this offseason, he has to come back. He was a workhorse for the Dallas Cowboys. So a few things here and there, Schottenheimer, I think he can improve on, but it's a first-time head coach, and the experience that he has, he's going to change that, and he's going to get better from that. I will say the culture that the Dallas Cowboys have built, I think, is pretty evident. With people not practicing well, people not showing up to meetings or listening in meetings, there's going to be some consequences for that. When Jaden Blue is a prime example, we saw throughout the year he did not play throughout this year because of issues that happened off the field. So overall, from a culture standpoint, I think Schottenheimer has done great. From an X's and O's standpoint, I think there's obviously improvement. So overall, I'll give Brian Schottenheimer his first job as a head coach with the Jerry, with the Micah, with the Trayvon, with this and that, the Quinnen Williams acquisition. Give him a B-, Hamza, overall. But Hamza, I'll ask you this. Let's grade here the offense first. So overall grade for the Dallas Cowboys offense this year, and your excitement, I guess, for next year. But overall grade, Hamza, the Dallas Cowboys offense this year.
I mean, when you have a Pro Bowl quarterback, you have a candidate for a Pro Bowl running back, you have a Pro Bowl receiver, you have a Pro Bowl lineman, offensive lineman. Honestly, I think with how the offense did, the reason why we stayed in a lot of games this year against Carolina, against Green Bay, against what are other games that we stayed alive in? Um, I can't think of games. Kansas City, even Philly, week one, and multiple games throughout the Giants is because of our offense. Our offense usually it's with I was growing up in football. I've always heard this saying: "Defense wins championships." That's what I've always heard. That's not the situation. That's
In
not what
Dallas. In Dallas.
in Dallas at least.
Defense lose you playoff opportunities in Dallas.
Yeah, like honestly, it's kind of ridiculous. Ever since the playoff loss against Green Bay, our defense has been no. Even when we had Micah last year, our defense was still horrible.
Awful.
Like it
So
really
what was
pissed
your
me off.
grade for the offense, right? So overall grade? Did you give a grade yet?
The overall grade for the offense with everything that went by, it's an A.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give
I
it A
think
plus. We'll leave it A.
I'm just gonna compare something real quick here. Dak Prescott versus Drew Brees, first 10 years of their careers, in 139 games, 138 games for Drew Brees. Dak Prescott is 83, 55, and 1 to Drew Brees is 79, 58, and 0. Their completion percentage is pretty much identical. Passing yards, Dak Prescott has more by 400. Touchdowns, Dak Prescott has more by 12. Interceptions, Dak Prescott has less by over 30. And passer rating, Dak Prescott has more by 8. So Dak Prescott and Drew Brees' first 10-year comparison, pretty much identical. In fact, Dak Prescott had a better start to his career in the first 10 years in Drew
Only thing
Brees.
that's missing is playoffs. Is
Yeah, exactly. And
championship.
the playoff thing, and look at the defense. I will continue to say look at the defense for a playoff. But overall, Dak Prescott played at an MVP level this year. I said it. I said it in the summer that Dak Prescott would be an MVP candidate. And I argue, that was a crazy stutter, I argue that he would have been even more consideration if we won more games at the end of the year. But overall, Hamza, George Pickens was a dog. Javonte Williams, dog. CeeDee Lamb, dog. Ryan Flournoy, dog. Tyler Smith at times, dog. Jake Ferguson at times, dog. Like this offense, Tyler Booker, dog. These we have some big time playmakers on the offense side of the ball, and I think Ryan Flournoy has fully cemented himself as wide receiver 3 for the Dallas Cowboys. Overall, I'll give it an A minus. Hamza, I'm going to be a little more critical because I do think in the second half of many of these games they could have done a little bit more and they didn't. So A minus is still a great grade. And now let me start off with the defense, Hamza. Oh my God, this defense.
Dude, we got bamboozled in the off season clips from Kyrie Elam and Kenneth Murray.
This defense historically was one of the worst defenses of all time. Okay, this defense is going to get a D minus or an F plus. I don't know if that's even a thing. D minus or F plus. Inconsistent throughout the whole year, unable to get off the field. And then look at this. When they make the trade for Quinnen Williams, you had a 3-game winning streak. Things were looking great. We were both extremely excited. Then you go into Detroit and absolutely fumble the bag. You fumble the bag in Detroit. Sorry, I don't know what happened here. Sorry. You fumble the bag in Detroit. Eberflus makes 0 adjustments. Overall, an absolute SHIT show for the Dallas Cowboys on defense. That they're getting a D minus, Hamza, for me.
So when Dallas made the acquisition of getting Logan Wilson and Quinnen Williams and having to get back Overshown and rookie Savon Ravel, throughout from week 10 up until week 17, Dallas was ranked from week 10 to week 17. We're ranked 5th in run defense.
Yeah.
Our run defense got better. But everything else, our corners kept getting beat. Our zone, again, it just didn't work. It didn't work. And I would understand Trayvon Diggs' frustration earlier of getting Matt Eberflus to play more man because zone was not working. Also, we don't have zone linebackers. Kenneth Murray is one of the worst zone linebackers I've ever seen in my life. I was super hard on Jack Sanborn earlier in the year. In terms of zone coverage, I think Sanborn might be better. Kenneth Murray is horrible at zone coverage. I will say, when he runs downhill, or when he's even though I can't even say that because he's such bad pursuit angle sometimes, it's really bad. Kenneth Murray, super disappointed in him. Who else? Kyrie Elam,
Let's talk about our boy Deron Bland at times too,
Hold on
Hamza.
one second. One second. I'm gonna get there. Kyer Elam, who we traded for a fifth round pick, he didn't even make it throughout the whole season. He got cut. Sure, you want to talk about Deron Bland? I'm still a big Deron Bland defender to this day. I still honestly believe if you're a nickel in zone coverage, it's not gonna go well for you. He played a lot better in man this year, Deron Bland. Uh, I still think also fortunately he's having another foot surgery. I think this week or the week after. But he will be back for the regular season. My nose is so stuffed up right now.
Yeah, that's what the Cowboys do. They give you emotional stress and they result in allergies.
But this defense did get better. I feel like if it stayed throughout the regular season, how it did the first 10 weeks, then what it did from 10 weeks till after. Dallas was ranked 30th in total defense this year, and that's yards and points allowed. I saw a stat somewhere, and I'll try to find this, and I could send this to you. There was a stat that said Aaron Rodgers' MVP numbers versus quarterbacks against the Dallas defense. The quarterbacks against Dallas defense on average had more yards and more touchdowns than Aaron Rodgers' MVP in 2021. I'm gonna give it because how disappointing. If our defense was just mediocre this year, we would have had a nice playoff run. I truly believe that,
So
and
you're giving it like an E? Like, what's the worst grade? Like an E? Or,
F is the worst. I'm
no,
gonna
is
go
there something worse than an F?
no.
Like ineligible? Like you're not even allowed to play?
What grade did you get? You said
I
D
said
minus.
D plus or F plus. Sorry, D minus or F plus. Failure is what I give them. I give them
Yeah,
restart. They have to restart.
I'm gonna give it a D minus only because they did get better midway through the season, at least in terms of the run, but everything else was still bad.
I give them a restart. They have to restart. This is
I
an
think that was
embarrassing year for the Dallas Cowboys defense as a whole. But overall, that leads us to the perfect segment, Hamza. See, we're learning in 2026. We're evolving into beautiful segment transitions. We talk about the defense and how awful they were. I'm sure he's a great guy. He's sounding great in his press conference interviews. Obviously, a father, former head coach. A lot of respect for him. I've never obviously met the guy, but he seems like a good guy. It obviously did not work. He did not make adjustments, and that resulted in Brian Flores. That resulted in Matt Eberflus getting fired by the Dallas Cowboys, kind of at a shocking time because in the past they always wait. They always wait to fire these coaches, and they're always super late in the hiring process. But I think what happened is in the last 4 days, so many coaches have been let go by their teams. Dallas didn't want to get behind in the recruiting process or in the interview process with these coaches. And it was written on the wall in week 3 that Eberflus was going to get fired. So Hamza, with Eberflus getting let go by the Dallas Cowboys, let me hear your top 2, 3 candidates for this new defensive coordinator opportunity in Dallas, and just 2 or 3 players and how you think they're going to do in the draft and stuff like that. Like what their focus is going to be in the draft.
So the 3 defensive coordinator options that I'm thinking about is one I think the most talked about throughout social media and what we've been hearing. Brian Flores or Brian Flores.
Yeah, and for our viewers, let us know, let them know like where he's from, like where he's
Brian
now.
Flores is a current defensive coordinator for the Minnesota Vikings. My God, my nose. He has in years proven to have good defenses. He had good defense in Miami when he was a head coach. 2021 up until 2022 or 2021. His defense wasn't the issue in Miami. It was that horrible offense. Even in Minnesota this year, their defense is very good. He kind of revived Jonathan Grenard's career. He kind of revived his career. Jonathan Grenard is now like a Pro Bowl defensive end. I think Brian Flores will be a great option for Dallas. They're very aggressive, runs a nice 4-3 defense. I think he would be really nice. Another one, current defensive coordinator for the Cleveland Browns, Jim Schultz. Honestly, if you see that Cleveland Brown defense, there's dogs everywhere, but not just because like they're actual dogs. Is their system, the way they're able to, you know, shoulder stunts, and I think he also runs a 4.3 if I'm not mistaken. Um, but he would be a really good option. He's had really good defenses throughout the last a couple years. He's been there for Cleveland, and then my final option is I'm sure he's going to get some head coaching interviews, but if not, Raheem Morris, former head coach of the Atlanta Falcons. He was not the defensive coordinator for the Falcons; it was someone else. But him and his mentality, also being a defensive guy, I think getting a guy like Raheem Morris would be a great option for Dallas. I think one thing that we need to be more aggressive defensively. I think what Eberflus did, he was way too passive, being way too passive and running a lot of zone and never worked. A lot of these guys in their defenses that I showed, like Atlanta, uh, Minnesota, and Cleveland, run a lot of man, and they have the personnel to do it. I still believe that there's some personnel on this team that Dallas has that can put in that could be good. With Deron Bland, I think he's one. I think Savon Ravel over time will develop himself to be a great corner in this league. DeMarvion Overshown, rookie Donovan as a Rocco, even though the sack numbers weren't there, but you put on the tape and see how many pressures this guy got with the limited snaps that he had. I think he's definitely one of them. Obviously Quentin Williams, Kenny Clark, Osa Digazua. We have the guys. It's just the personnel and the defensive schemes that was running. It was limiting of what could have been. So those are the top three options. Raheem Morris, Atlanta Falcons, former Atlanta Falcons head coach. Jim Schultz, Cleveland Browns defensive coordinator, and Brian Flores, the Minnesota Vikings defensive coordinator.
All right, I like that list. I respect that list a lot. I think Raheem Morris is an interesting name to keep an eye on because I have heard that he is getting some head coaching interviews this week. So that might be a tough one to swing. But hey, if those don't work out, I think it's a great option because he did lead the Rams defense to that Super Bowl a couple years ago with Aaron Donald, who's a Hall of Famer, obviously defensive tackle, and Quinnen Williams, who is just an absolute beast in the middle. So you never know what he can do with something like that. For me, Hamza, I also have three options as well. My first option is, I think this guy's super underrated and not many people are talking about him. I have my notes right here. Is Jim Leonard, the defensive assistant, pass game coordinator for the Denver Broncos. Just listening to interviews from 105 The Fan, shout out them, and Bobby Belt, and all these guys who I listen to on a daily basis from the Dallas Cowboys who are in that building. This is a name that they have said the Cowboys have kept an eye on for a very long time. He's a young coach. I think he's 45 years old. It's a very good age to be a good coach and someone that can relate to the players. And he is the current defensive game pass coordinator for the Denver Broncos. And that defense has always been amazing. Back to even the Peyton Manning days 15 years ago. He was also a former player for Denver as well. So I think this is a name that might not be the biggest name on the market from a fan's perspective because us fans, they want to see the Harbaughs, they want to see the Belichicks, they want to see Raheem Morris and Brian Flores. But I think this can be someone that's super underrated, could be a great fit for Dallas. And in a couple of years from now, when he gets a head coaching opportunity, you'll look back and say, okay, he was a defensive coordinator for Dallas. So these are the names that I would keep an eye on. Is that number one is Jim Leonard from the Denver Broncos. My number two, Hamza, he got let go just a couple days ago by the Arizona Cardinals. Jonathan Gannon, former head coach for them. He was also that broke live on the podcast.
It's been broken for a while.
That's a tough one. I'll continue on here. Jonathan Gannon is my second option for the defensive coordinator position here in Dallas. He obviously was formerly the defensive coordinator for the Philadelphia Eagles. And that could be a big plus for us. He's in the division back. He'll be back in the division. He understands that team. And frankly, that's the team that... Okay, Hamza, you good, bro?
No, dude, don't mind me.
This is the team the Eagles are that the Cowboys have to chase in that division, right? You focus on the division first and then eventually build on to getting a playoff spot after that. But he knows his division and what he did for the interior defensive line and Fletcher Cox, Brendan Graham, Chris Long, I believe his name was. That defensive front in Philadelphia was extremely successful while he was there. Obviously, later on with Jalen Carter. I'm not sure if he was there with Jalen Carter. But
He wasn't.
No, but so what? And then you go into what he did in Denver, in Arizona. Their defense has always been top 5, top 10 in the league. It's just their offense was never able to perform. And you look at what he can do for player development and Walter Nolan and all these guys. So Jonathan Gannon is my number 2 option. And number 3, kind of underrated here. I have my notes here as well. Sorry. Obviously, Brian Flores would be, I think, a home run because he can then leverage that into becoming a head coach down the road. But another option, Hamza, I think is Chris Harris, defensive coordinator for the New York Jets. And I understand the Jets just like the Jets, but he has familiarity with a guy like Quinnen Williams. The Jets defense has always been kind of respectable and good. He has familiarity with Aaron Whitecon, who is now our current defensive line coach in Dallas. He can bring along a guy like Quincy Williams. I think this can be an underrated pickup by Dallas as well, Chris Harris. Um, I'm trying to go with names that are not the big names, right? Obviously, Raheem Morris, Brian Flores would be unbelievable,
I
but
think also another name to keep out for if he gets fired, Todd Bowles, head coach for the Buccaneers.
yeah, I don't see him getting. That would be kind of crazy, but I don't see him getting let
I
go.
mean, dude, John Harbaugh got fired. Like, who would have thought?
I know that could be a cool name too.
I want to have him a D coordinator though.
Yeah, so that's our 3 list there, Hamza. So, that'll do it, Hamza, for our Cowboys recap and defensive coordinator projections. Obviously, this will be an ongoing topic we talk about. Actually, as we're speaking right now, Jerry Jones is doing a press conference right now with Schottenheimer and Stephen Jones, probably talking about the Eberflus firing. Hamza, we'll go into our next segment here. Obviously, we still have the playoffs this week. I'm just going to bring it up here. Oh, before we get into that, Hamza, quickly, how did your family fantasy football finals go, Hamza? You want to tell the viewers how it went?
Nah, you got it.
No. I want you to say, Hamza.
So for those who don't know, Josefa and I were in the family fantasy football final. The first time, actually, second time that we met in the finals. First time I absolutely obliterated him. And years prior, I've absolutely obliterated him. This year I lost to Josefa twice.
No,
And
3
then
times.
no, twice in the regular season. And then we met in the finals. Just unfortunate, things happened, and my players didn't want to show up and perform.
Championship ring right here.
Players didn't want to show up. Players didn't want to do anything. So, yeah, I did not come up with the win. Tough loss for sure.
Yeah, I older brothered him in the finals. It wasn't even close. It was kind of embarrassing actually. But being a champion in this league, it means a lot. Obviously, a lot of smack talk to my team at the beginning of the year. No one thought I can do it. Even members of our own family were cheering for you, not me. But for me to pick up the win was big. I want to thank my mom and my dad for their support throughout this journey. It means a lot. And yeah, I'm the champion. You gotta respect it. Respect me. Acknowledge me. And this will be a continued trash talk till next year when I repeat as champion. But yeah, I will say that I run that league for sure. So okay, here we go. I had to throw that plug. Okay, Hamza. Obviously, NFL wildcard starts this weekend. Some exciting games. Obviously, we are all diehard Chicago Bear fans this weekend because if the Chicago Bears win, I believe the Dallas Cowboys would get the 19th or the 20th pick in the draft. So that would give us the 12th and the 20th pick in this year's upcoming NFL draft.
Yeah, so if the Panthers win and the Packers lose, we get the 19th pick.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. So here we go. We'll start with the bracket here first. Start off in the NFC. You got the Rams on the road in Carolina. Who do you got in that game, Hamza?
I'm gonna take. I'm not gonna take Carolina. As much as I want the 19th pick, I'm gonna take the Rams here. I'm gonna go. They met earlier in the regular season in Carolina, and Carolina did come up with the win. But this is playoff time. Matthew Stafford in the playoffs is a different guy. Even though he's playing like an MVP this year, could potentially win the MVP. I'm going to go with the Los Angeles Rams.
All right. I am also going to go with the Los Angeles Rams. I think that defense is a little bit starting to get some momentum now. And Devontae Adams, I think he's back in the lineup. And Puka Nacua and Matthew Stafford, they have unbelievable chemistry. And keep an eye on for Kyron Williams. I think he's going to have a big game for the Rams. So that's my prediction
We're gonna
there.
have a big game in fantasy.
With San Francisco 49ers against the Philadelphia Eagles, Hamza. Who do you got in that game?
Two teams I hate.
I hate that. That game should end in a draw, like no win, and then the Cowboys should play for them. And it should move on.
But I am gonna go, despite how much I don't like San Francisco. There's no team franchise in sports that I hate more than the Philadelphia Eagles. Um, I'm gonna go with the San Francisco 49ers.
I agree. I absolutely hate both of these teams. Man, I hate them. But you know what? I think the 49ers come up with the big win. Brock Purdy's gonna have a big game. Christian McCaffrey's big game. So I got the 49ers as well. All right, finishing up the NFC Humza in the first round of the wild card playoffs. We have the Green Bay Packers against the Chicago Bears.
The Bears.
I got the Bears as well, Humza. I think
But I will say it's gonna be a nail biter. The Bears are gonna barely pass by.
yeah, divisional game in the playoffs. Those are always added excitement. I got the Bears in that one, Hamza, for sure. You got the Bears as well?
Yeah.
So, all right, we're all on the same page here for this one. So, here we go. AFC now. Bills at Jaguars. I'll let you go first. I know what I'm picking.
This one's a tough one. You would think the Jaguars would win at home field advantage. Buffalo Bills have not been the same team as they were years prior, but they are still a playoff team. Josh Allen has been the same quarterback this year. But I will say, despite all of that, despite how sometimes bad their defense can be, I'm gonna go with a potential upset here with the Buffalo Bills over the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah,
Just
it's an
due to the
upset.
fact. No, I'm gonna call it upset because the Jaguars have been dominant this year. Shout out to Jordy Kokonakis for his prediction earlier, uh, in like week 3 or
That's preseason.
episode 3 of our podcast. Shout out to him. I think I'm gonna go with the Bills here in Jacksonville.
Interesting. I'm Hamza. I have a different mindset. I think Liam Cohen and this. Sorry, I'm going to turn off the stuff here. Sorry. Focus. Do not disturb for 1 hour. Perfect. Okay. I'm going to go with the Jacksonville Jaguars, Hamza. I think Liam Cohen has built an amazing culture for the Jaguars. Trevor Lawrence is playing at a great level. That defense, led by former Dallas Cowboy Jordan Lewis, they're playing great. I think I'm going to go definitely with the Jacksonville Jaguars. They got momentum, and this might be a time where people may have to start questioning Josh Allen's playoff performances if he does lose this week. Okay, next matchup, Hamza, we got the New England Patriots against the LA Chargers. Hamza, who you got that one?
This is going to be the defensive game of the year. Two teams with great defenses. Houston, obviously, with the best defense in the NFL.
No, it said Patriots and Chargers. You said Houston.
No. Oh, you said Patriots.
Patriots versus Chargers, yeah.
Oh, I didn't. Okay, you're saving that for last. I thought you were going down the order. Okay, Patriots versus Chargers. Tougher than you think, because the Patriots honestly have not played against many playoff caliber teams. A lot of their wins have been on teams that aren't playoff teams. Drake May's been having a great year. I mean, they're in New England. Playoff culture's back in New England. I'm gonna go. Yeah, I'll go with the Patriots here.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Patriots, Hamza, got this one here. They're at home. That crowd has been itching for playoff football at this kind of level for a while now. Mike Vrabel, that defense, that culture. And Drake May, like you mentioned, potential MVP candidate. I got the New England Patriots in that one. And finally, Hamza, to end off this prediction bracket, I guess prediction is the Houston Texans on the road against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Hamza,
why don't you go first with that one? I'll give you mine.
Okay, so I know a certain individual who may or may not watch this episode. He may get a little bit upset or say I'm trying to rage bait, trying to do this and that. Frankly, I don't think the Pittsburgh Steelers have played consistent level of good football in the last, I want to say, month or so. They've been kind of getting lucky here and there, a missed field goal here and there, missed calls here and there. There hasn't been a moment since the very beginning of this year when you're saying Aaron Rodgers in this offense, they're humming, they're rolling, they are a threat. And I think the opposite can be said towards the Houston Texans. They didn't have the greatest starts to the season, but they really picked it up in the later half of the season. That defense might be the best defense in the NFL. CJ Stroud's been playing some great football. Nico Collins has been playing great. The whole system that they're building down there in Houston, I think, is uh, kind of going under the radar because of the other team's success. So I'm going to go on the road. The Houston Texans come into, I don't, it's not called Heinz Field anymore. I forget what it's called. But and they pick up that win against the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the Houston Texans move on to the divisional round.
Yeah, that's like I said before when I thought you said Houston and Pittsburgh. This is going to be a defensive game of the year. Steelers, I've been known for decades and decades about their defense. Offense has always been lackluster, and even this year as well. But Houston, on the other hand, like you mentioned before, this is the best defense in football. That front with Will Anderson
Scary.
Jr. and Daniil Hunter, and that secondary with Kamari Lassiter and Derek Stingley and Caleb Bullock as their safety. Even our boy Aziz Al-Shire, the linebacker. He's a pro baller, by the way. He's a dog.
Future Dallas Cowboy.
Respond to my DM, please. I think it's too much for the Steelers to handle. I think this is be Aaron Rodgers' last game in football.
Damn! Wow.
I think it's Aaron Rodgers' last game. He's gonna go out against the Houston Texans. I'm gonna go, and it's not gonna be a high school. Like this is the game where it's gonna be
13-10.
Yeah, or even like 17-3.
Yeah. No, I can see that for sure. All right, Hamza. So we pretty much picked the exact same games, except for I have the Jags and you have the Bills. So that's going to be interesting. We'll see if great minds think
Who
alike.
do you have winning the Super Bowl?
We'll get to that. What we'll do, we'll build each and every week, and we'll do a prediction. Right now, if you're gonna guess, man, I want to say the Rams, but that playing in Seattle, as they are the number one seed, that's gonna be a tough building to play in. So right now, I want to go Seattle, and I think from the AFC, I don't know. I don't know why. I think the Patriots are gonna surprise a lot of people here and go on a run. Maybe Patriots in Seattle. That's my early prediction. Hamza, who do you have for your early prediction? And we'll build to that eventually more.
I said it since Dallas was not able to get into the playoffs. The way Matthew Stafford has been playing and Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams when they're healthy, it's really hard to stop the offense. And not even just the offense, that defense is legit too.
Puna Ford is he's insane.
Who?
Ford?
Who's Ford?
The defensive tackle for the Rams.
Puna Ford?
Yeah, I said that. Puna Ford.
Oh, he's good. Yeah. And Jared Verse is also a dog too. I think the Rams are gonna take it. I think the Rams are gonna go all year, and Stafford's gonna retire at the end of the year.
Excited! Wow, that's crazy, Hamza. Well, listen, Hamza. I think that's gonna do it for this episode. Hamza, obviously, a lot of content. We didn't get into the World Sports segment, unfortunately, but the Ottawa Senators have been struggling as of late. They have a big game against Utah, Colorado, and Florida this week. So hopefully the Sens can turn it around.
Team Canada World Juniors. Wow.
Team Canada World Juniors disappointment. We'll get into a whole bunch of stuff later. We wanted to welcome everybody back. Obviously, we took about a month off. There was just family-related stuff and my moving process and a bunch of whole other things. So I know people were saying we're ducking because the Cowboys lost. Listen, the Cowboys always lose, and we still have a smile on our face most of the time. So, Hamza, I'll let you take it away from us. And before you do that, I will announce that we will be doing a full mock draft. Round. We'll do like a full first round mock draft coming down the road, maybe next week or the week after. A lot of our podcasting stuff now will be catered towards the draft because this is an exciting draft for not only the Dallas Cowboys, but I think the NFL. There's some great players in this draft, so we'll get to more of that content soon. And also keep an eye on our social medias because TikTok, there are going to be some new content there as well. Some different type of videos, not just clips of what we say in the podcast, some cool games, imposter games, a bunch of stuff. So 2026, we got a new focus. We got a new vision. Hamza, I'll let you take it away from us here.
Again, guys, we appreciate all the love and support that we've been getting, even though we took a little time off. But again, we're back. We're back, and we're stronger than ever. Again, we appreciate everything, and we'll be posting again every week. And like Jose said earlier, there will be more content be posted shortly. Yeah, we'll again appreciate you guys, and we'll see you guys soon.
Thanks, guys.